you create content for YouTube, this video is very important to watch.
Not only can we sue Google and YouTube for compliance with COPPA, but also individual channel owners and content creators. And once this order has been fully implemented, we intend to conduct a sweep.
Execute Order 66.
Roblox? Yeah, that one's gonna take a big hit.
Is Roblox even going to exist on YouTube in the year 2020? So we're going to talk about that in this video and the way gaming is even going to exist on the platform. We're going to talk about COPPA, we're going to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, and a little bit of detail about the law to see if, well, you know, maybe if content creators are going to be saved and what it really comes down to in the end. Sure, a lot of you guys have been watching a lot of these videos, so you know what COPPA is. Just a quick overview. It is the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, and it is an act that was started in 1998 and enacted in 2000 that applies to online collection of personal information. Just remember, personal information, we're going to cover that, by persons or entities under U.S. jurisdiction from children under the age of 13, and that includes children outside of the U.S. So if you guys are not in the U.S., this still applies to you. YouTube is a company that is owned and operated in the United States, so that applies to all of this. So basically it says a website operator must include privacy policy, and when it seeks verify, like it wants to get consent from an adult or a parent in order to get any sort of information from anyone under the age of 13. Now, this is a good law. I mean, in a certain way, we do want to protect kids' privacy online, obviously. This is a parenting thing as well. There's a lot of uncertainty, and there have been some comments that I want to show you here that we should probably consider.
FTC is bringing independent piecemeal actions against content creators for violating COPPA.
So basically what he's saying there is that content creators, individual content creators, could end up facing their own fines and getting sued for the content that they are putting on the platform. And he has a lot more to say about it, and it's not necessarily positive from the way he describes it, especially with this whole fish in a barrel comment that you're going to hear.
So the analogy that I think of, imperfect, is the expression about shooting fish in a barrel. And YouTube is the barrel, and the content creators are the fish. And so it's a place where this content is centralized, and essentially it's easy for us to find.
Okay, so this guy's basically saying that content creators are fish in a barrel, that it's really going to be easy for them to find us, to single out the ones that are made for kids and get rid of them, and maybe even find them and make a big example out of them. And what would the reason for that be exactly?
That may discourage content creators from posting content on YouTube.
Wow, okay, well, you know, there's over 500 hours of content uploaded every minute. You know, does that mean that we're probably going to be safe, or how are they going to be able to figure this out? I don't know. Let's hear what they have to say about that.
We have a variety of tools at our disposal to cull through those 23 million channels and in an expeditious way. I mean, this is the way that we generally enforce COPPA, is by actually reviewing content to determine if it's directed to children. We have a variety of factors in our rule that we consider when determining whether or not content is directed to children.
And that right there is really the big question for a lot of us. What are those factors? How do they apply? And how are they going to be applied? So we know what the factors are. We're going to tell you those factors. They're all really, really broad, and we're going to see how that really applies to the gaming. So as far as what YouTube has let us know about, here is what they said in the video that they provided for us, and then we'll take a look at some of the other things that are listed.
The subject matter of your video. Whether children are your intended audience for the video. Whether the video includes child actors or models. Whether the video includes characters, celebrities, or toys that appeal to children, including animated characters or cartoon figures. Whether the language of the video is intended for children to understand. Whether the video includes activities that appeal to children, such as play acting, simple songs or games, or early education. Whether the video includes songs, stories, or poems that appeal to children.
All right, well, those seem like some pretty simple bullet points, pretty easy to comply to, right? Well, do you guys have any legal advice or any other advice that you can offer us, YouTube?
Ultimately, we can't provide legal advice.
Of course, I can't offer any legal advice as well, but we can take a look at some stuff that the FTC has released and look at some of these details and how it relates to Roblox and how it's going to affect YouTube overall and what we can actually do to maybe hopefully make an impact. So here on FTC, they make it clear. A lot of us have been considering, like, yo, hey, it's YouTube's platform. It's their thing. Like, they always ask people when they come. When you try to create a YouTube account or something on Google, they ask you your first name and your last name, your email address. Wouldn't that be considered personal information? Well, yeah, I guess that certainly would. And if somebody's under 13, then aren't they collecting personal information from someone under 13? Same thing with you're trying to sign up on Roblox. It's like birthday, username, password. Would that be considered personal information? I mean, if we look at these things, then what it comes down to, what personal information is, according to COPPA: first name, last name, a home or physical address, online contact information, so an email address, a screen or a username that functions as an online contact information, telephone number, social security, any sort of identifier. So even if it's like a moniker or something that they use online, even like a username inside of a game, any geolocation, or anything that says, like, you know, what grade you're in or what time zone you're in, anything like that can be considered personal information. However, the very, very strict part of this law, I went and I looked at the most final ruling here. Now, if you look at this is the law. It's very, very boring. It actually looks a lot like a patent, not gonna lie, and a piece of law where there's always little notes. Now, if I come in here and I look for general audience, I notice that there's some very valuable information. Some of this that I think is definitely what we want to look at right here, because it's very, very, very specific. It says, so it says liable only if it has actual knowledge that it is collecting personal information from a specific child. So if somebody comes to a website and it's their first time visiting it, the website and the owners of the website don't know for sure that it's a child. But as soon as they know that it is from a child, or this person is a child, then they are liable under the law. But that is actually kind of good news, because a lot of people have been talking about these huge fines that can be incurred if people end up, you know, going in and making a video for kids and they mark it incorrectly and YouTube collects some information. Not that we're collecting any personal information, though, you know, sometimes there's some things that, you know, may be considered personal information that, you know, people will just volunteer. They'll say, hey, this is my username on Roblox, but that's not collecting personal information, because you are not collecting personal information from a specific child that you know is a child. Even right here in OneNote, it says the commission notes that this amendment would not apply to uploading videos or photos to a general audience on a site such as Facebook or YouTube, absent actual knowledge that the person uploading such a file is a child. So it's basically, there has to be knowledge. In order for this to happen, you have to have knowledge that the person is a child. And, you know, unless you've got that on your site, technically it sounds like they would have to be able to prove that you would have this knowledge in order for you to get in trouble. So as long as you're not doing that, guys, you have to comply the law. So I recommend know the law. Read this stuff. It says this issue is framed in terms of child-directed content providers integrating plugins or other online services. That is by far the most likely scenario. The same strict liability standard would apply to a general audience. So if somebody has a general audience, they say, I have a general audience content provider that allows plugin to collect personal information from a specific user when the provider has actual knowledge the user is a child. And maybe there are little legal things that people will eventually be able to put on their sites or on their videos or on their descriptions that will help them, and hopefully you guys can talk to a lawyer and find out some information on that. But it sounds like in order to be held accountable by this law, you have to have specific knowledge that they're an actual child, and then you can continue to collect the personal information from that child without parental consent, because parental consent can exist as well. And that's why Roblox can have, you know, if you're under 13, you can still have an under 13 account, and there are certain restrictions that apply, but they also require you to get a parent's email address and for parents to consent for you to be on the platform. And that is why Roblox itself in March of 2007 was COPPA compliant back then, because they've set up all this stuff in place. So Roblox is COPPA compliant. I don't think that that actually would hurt us necessarily, but we're going to talk about how, you know, just the look of Roblox in itself could hurt us. But why did this happen to YouTube? Like, YouTube, basically what they were doing is they were going around and to the FTC, you know, like, they're like, we got no kids. We got no kids. If you're on here and you say you're under 13, you can't create a profile. Boom. That's it. End of the story. However, when they were talking to advertisers, they were saying things along the lines of, we got so many kids on the platform. It's like the biggest platform for kids. There's so many kids on the platform. And they weren't talking about YouTube kids. So they were pulling in advertisers and basically incentivizing them, saying that, yeah, we've got a lot of kids. You guys can come over here. We got a lot of kids. And a lot of data was collected. And that data and all of that information basically is what resulted in a lawsuit against YouTube for doing this. So but this is why they're doing this, and this is why they're saying, like, are you for kids, or are you not for kids? Basically based on the subject matter, the visual content, use of animated characters or child-oriented things, the kind of music content. Like, this is, guys, this is a mixed bag, because there's so much stuff that can fall under this stuff, like animated characters, anything gaming, or anything animated. How many animated channels exist? Like, what channels on YouTube don't go under this? Music or audio content. You know, there's a lot of people that listen to all sorts of music. Like, Taylor Swift has so many 10-year-olds listening. So is Taylor Swift going to get kicked off of this? What is going to be left on YouTube as a result? The age of the models, you know, if there's somebody young, any child celebrities, any language that's used, any language that, like, the kids, you know, would relate to. So basically, like, what, do they want people to start cursing? But no, there's adpocalypse. They don't want people to curse either. So there's a very, very fine line there where they don't want you to be, like, directed to kids or not directed to kids. And what's going to come down to is someone from the FTC going through and viewing this stuff and saying, well, this looks like it could be animated. Every game looks like it's animated. Boom, everything under the Roblox, everything under Minecraft is considered for kids, and is going to be considered directed to kids. So that's the thing, is that's what it really comes down to, guys. In the end, this comes down to somebody who is working for the FTC, who knows how much they know about content or videos or YouTube or anything, and they're going to go in there and, you know, maybe every gaming channel, a lot of art channels, a lot of animation channels, a lot of fashion or makeup channels, music channels, anything unboxing, anything with, like, stop motion. You know, there's so much stuff. I mean, you can see stop motions with some Roblox toys, and, you know, it's not necessarily directed to kids. It could be a general audience. Like, go in there and watch some Robot Chicken. They could watch some Robot Chicken there with the sound down and be like, bro, this is for kids. But if they actually watched it, they would know it's not for kids. Same with, like, Rick and Morty or South Park or something. I mean, there's some stuff there that is intended for general audiences. So hopefully we can actually do our best as content creators and viewers on the platform to make our voices heard. Well, let's see real quickly what MatPat thinks about the survival of Roblox on the platform.
Roblox? Yeah, that one's gonna take a big hit, but how about Minecraft?
Yeah, bro, Minecraft too. Okay, I'm talking about both. That's what I'm saying, though. These sort of have this sort of animation look, right? And there's a lot of kids that play on the platform. It is COPPA compliant. There's a lot of people who are under the age of 13. But again, there is a lot of people who are over 13, and it is a general audience. So it really comes down to, is there going to be somebody there from the FTC who's going to say, yep, Roblox stuff, yep, that's for kids. So we're just going to take all the Roblox stuff, and it's going to be kind of cast aside and basically set out. What are people going to go to Roblox or YouTube Kids for Roblox stuff? And that's the thing. Like, what is going to be left on YouTube? We're gonna have nothing. We're gonna have, what, games that are extremely violent? What's the middle ground for stuff? You know, what, or are we gonna have just like YouTube is just gonna be a place where you can only, like, educational and motivational stuff, maybe some middle ground comedy. Like, all you're gonna see on YouTube is Jim Gaffigan. Okay, it's just gonna be, you know, clean comedy, nothing too bad, nothing for kids, nothing too, like, dad jokey, but also nothing. Well, that might be too many dad jokes from Jim Gaffigan. I don't know. Hot Pockets! Anyways, that's the thing, is there's still gonna be kids who are gonna be on the platform watching stuff. They're gonna be on their parents' devices. They're gonna be, you know, lying about their age, and they're still gonna be watching. There's gonna be kids who are 10 to 12 probably. They're still gonna be on the platform. They're gonna still be watching stuff. But now, what is that age group going to be exposed to? Like, is this actually going to do anything to help kids at all. No, they're going to be exposed to much more, I'd say, racy, like risky, sort of, adult kind of content, Maybe the games that they're going to be exposed to, no more animated type stuff, only games that are very realistic and super violent. So it's going to be nothing but like Call of Duty, and basically, yeah, that's about it. So, guys, I mean, what? We could have soccer, we have sports games. It's going to be EA Sports and Call of Duty. That's going to be gaming on the platform. But guys, I mean, gaming is a huge part of the platform, and even the CEO, Susan, has made that statement herself.
I mean, gaming is an incredibly important part of our ecosystem. It's why I'm here. It's why we're having a gaming summit. I mean, I'll tell you, when I first got to YouTube, I assembled the first team that was dedicated from an engineering perspective to supporting gaming on our platform.
So I think it is a good thing that YouTube understands how important gaming is on their platform. So best case scenario, people read some of these comments. We're going to give you a link and show you where that you can comment. I am submitting a comment right now just to show you guys what I'm doing. So who knows, best case scenario, this law is a little bit changed and overturned, and there's some stuff that is reversed as far as what's going on, or, a stay of execution for what happens on the platform on YouTube. That's not generally something that we see happening a lot as far as these kind of laws. But Google's huge, YouTube's huge, and there's a lot of people who really care about this. So make your voice heard, guys. I've got a link there in the description right there. Go and try to comment. No hate comments, guys. No hate comments to the FTC or COPPA. People are going to be reading these. These are professionals. We need to let them know from a professional side. On our side, thank you for taking the time to read these comments and just let them know how we think this is all going to happen. So guys, if you guys could do that, go comment to the FTC. Let them know. Try to emphasize, general audience, Roblox, Minecraft. Let them know you are over the age of 13 and you enjoy that content, or you create that content, or whatever content you create. Guys, it's very important that we let our voices be heard here today. So if you're new here, we'd love to have you subscribe and hit that notification. Thank you for watching. If you have any other questions about this whole thing, just let me know right there in the comments below, and hopefully we will not end up being fishes in a barrel.